Dude, that was kind of a downer.
There's so much to love in the world of Regular Show, but one of its strongest points is the characters of the Park Gang. You can't have a good show without fun characters, right? Mordecai is basically seen as the main dude, considering he's voiced by J.J. Quintel and is very similar to him in real life. Rigby is his best friend, getting in rough situations and barely taking things seriously. Muscle Man and his best friend High Five Ghost are there as a nice bundle of comedic relief, always willing to go on adventures together. Benson's the guy in charge who watches over the others in a strict way, while still keeping a soft spot in his heart for everyone. Pops is the innocent man of the bunch, who's there to balance out the harshness of Regular Show. And then, aside from everyone else, we have Skips. He's been with the park since the very beginning, and he knows the answer to almost every weird supernatural situation the guys get themselves into. Skips is a Yeti with an absolutely insane amount of knowledge about pretty much anything you could possibly think of, hence why he plays a key role in the gang. Now, if you couldn't tell already, every member of this group contributes something new, and they actually work really well together. If you take out just one of them, it would feel like something's off. Over the course of the series, there's development that brings them closer together, and they eventually become lifelong friends who stay in contact long after the events of the show. But with the future ahead of them, there's one character in particular that has the darkest of them all, and that's Skips. My reasoning can pretty much be summed up in one simple word: immortality. Having the ability to live forever, it's only natural that Skips would know tons of little details about the universe. At the start of Regular Show, it wasn't a real secret that Skips was immortal. It's literally just a part of his character, and viewers don't question it because look at the cartoon we're talking about. Weird things happen all the time, so when you see a Yeti that lives forever, you just shrug it off and say, well, that's Regular Show. Since this is a major part to his character, we actually have some surprising lore about his life. Instead of never being directly mentioned, there's a full episode dedicated to explaining Skips' immortality, which is important to understand for the context of this video. We also get to hear his own personal thoughts on how it forever changed his life and his future. Season 5 Skips' story starts out with a classic interaction of Mordecai and Rigby, and Skips is just here to chill with them. The topic of immortality comes up, and our heroes think that it's awesome because you can survive anything. Skips reveals that they have it all wrong, and he then tells the backstory of how he even became immortal. We jump to school a long time ago, featuring Walks, who has just one more chance to graduate, but isn't taking things too seriously. He meets Gareth and the Guardians of Eternal Youth, then eventually comes face to face with Clorgbane the Destroyer, who pretty much owns the school and everyone in it. Walks stands up for himself and others, but the fight is quickly broken up. Fast forward to lunch, and we see this girl named Mona, who gets along with Walks pretty well. Now the main story of the episode kicks in with two different aspects: developing the relationship with Mona, and then getting ready to fight Clorgbane. Sadly, the prom and the fight are both supposed to happen at 8 p.m, meaning Skips is gonna have to dive into both situations and do everything at the same time. Things escalate when Clorgbane invades a school and wreaks havoc, where the true fight can begin. These guys go head to head in an epic battle, and then a harsh attack leads to Mona jumping in the way to save her lover. The force of the spike leads to the entire room shaking, and a piece of the ceiling straight up crushes her. That's the final straw for our legendary Yeti, who after defeating Clorgbane, comes to a sad truth: Mona has passed away. So at the end of the episode, how and why did he become immortal? Well, the Guardians reveal that Clorgbane will return 150 years from now, harming others and doing the same thing he did here. Skips accepts the offer to be immortal so that he can be the hero and live on to avenge Mona. Recalling happy memories with her skipping, he decides his new name for the rest of eternity will be, you guessed it, Skips.
And that's how I became immortal. I'll skip till the end of eternity. It's my way of being close to her.
Well, that was just depressing. Still, we need to know about it because it dives into the core of his character, how immortality isn't all that it's cracked up to be. There's a major reason why Skips has a pretty dark future ahead, and that's because he'll watch all of his friends grow up and die, a cycle until the end of time. We may not have been able to watch every single one of his friend groups over the course of his life, but he's clearly still close with Mordecai, Rigby, and the rest of the park gang. He wants to be their friend for as long as possible. This fan art art is a reminder of what awaits Skips in his near future. It shows the gang sitting and just watching nature unfold. They don't really need to talk or anything because the moment speaks for itself. Just the very presence of these friends is enough to keep them happy, and it seems like a wholesome time. But as light becomes darkness and hope dwindles away, Skip sits in the same spot sometime later. You can't see his face, but he's leaning ever so slightly down in despair. All the friends he's been hanging out with are long gone from this world, and he's forced to live without them because he's immortal. Now this picture eventually started spreading around online everywhere, with people using it as like a meme template, but still, it's hard to forget that this is the reality. Even if it is fan art, it will eventually happen in the world of regular show. There's no indication that Skips will die anytime soon, and we can see that in the very final episode. As you probably already know by this point, Mordecai and Rigby's adventures come to an end after the biggest battle in the universe between Pops and Anti-Pops. Then we get that classic montage where we get to see how lives develop after the events of the show. Based on what we get here, it seems like everyone's doing well. Each park member has their own path to follow, or something to look forward to in the future. Mordecai takes on his passion of painting, studying his problems and willing to change his attitude. He also bumps into what later will become his wife. Rigby has an entire family to look out for, dedicating himself to the needs of his kids. 25 years later, Benson is still the leader of the park as per usual, but he's looking so much happier than his time on regular show. That's probably because he ended up marrying Pam. You might question why a gumball machine and a person can be in a relationship, and I really don't want to think about it. Muscle Man is looking forward to what comes next, now a father with tons of little muscle men and muscle women. Fives is DJing with new wife Celia. Again, don't ask me how this relationship works, it's regular show. What do you want me to say? But throughout all this happiness, we need to look at Skips. The first shot of him is with a brand new park gang, since, you know, everyone else moved on with their lives. He'll need to make new friends, but something tells me they won't be nearly as meaningful as the ones that came before. The second shot we get from Skips is him doing work on a car, and you can tell that his physical appearance has stayed 100% the same. The only thing that isn't how it used to be is his pants, which are now shorts because, I don't know, maybe he just wants a new style. Although he's smiling that he gets to keep his job, there's something sad about watching Skips all these years later. He has nothing really to look forward to, and no lover to spend his days with. He's happy at this reunion, but that won't last. Eventually, every single character will be gone, and he'll live to see it all. Is this really the best ending that could have happened for the show? Like, just imagine if we got Skips versus Clorgbane in the series finale, duking it out and eventually coming to the same result of the Pops fight. Even if Skips is immortal, I doubt anything could survive being plunged into the sun. Instead, with the way things turned out, we know Skips has to remember everyone's deaths until the end of time. Diving into this lovable Yeti's backstory and future is depressing, don't get me wrong, but let's end on something positive. While it's true that he'll have to watch all his park friends die, we need to remember his other friends. They don't get nearly as much focus throughout the show, but they do still exist and are willing to check in every so often. These are dudes that have been around for a long time. They're either immortal or they just live really long. But at the end of the day, if you take just one thing from this video, it's that immortality is bad. The next time a group of magical babies offers you a chance to live forever, just say no. But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give a thumbs up and comment below, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.